Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Jamar here, Vegas Scents. I got a brand new video. In this video, I'm gonna be going over a scent that I've actually had my eyes on for quite a long time. Actually have been really interested in a lot of fragrances from this particular house. And that goes by the house of Initio. And in this video, I'm doing a little review here of Initio's Rehab. All right, so I'm gonna have a picture of Rehab over here, and pretty much Rehab comes in like this really nice, like really I would say sort of minimalistic, but like super modern looking and really upscale looking white bottle. And it's got like some kind of like diamond insignia like on the front of it. It really draws your attention in on like the bottle. So obviously I don't have a full bottle of this, but I definitely plan to get a full bottle of it because I do think that this scent, even though it does bear comparisons to Spice Bomb, I do think that this is still a scent that is still going to be fresh enough for you to still be able to wear in seasons other than winter. So pretty much when you first spray this particular fragrance on, you do definitely get like a huge resemblance to Spice Bomb. Now, I used to have Spice Bomb. I haven't had Spice Bomb in probably, I don't know, at least maybe like a year or so, maybe even longer than that. So, I mean, I don't have it to be able to do a side-by-side comparison with in this particular video, but I remember the way that fragrance smelled because it was a fragrance that I definitely enjoyed. Had like a really spicy opening, but it was still like that particular scent wasn't like super thick in my opinion. It was definitely on the lighter side, I would say, in terms of like it being a winter type fragrance. Now, this particular fragrance, when you first spray it on, and I'll go ahead and waste the spray here on this tester strip. When you first spray this on, you get like this really nice blend of like this really citrusy bergamot. You get lavender in this. You do smell like a spicy element to it as well. But just looking at the notes for this particular fragrance, there's actually like no spicy notes in the fragrance. So according to Fragrantica, it has top notes of bergamot and lavender. And then in the mid, you have vetiver, cedar, and patchouli. And then in the base, you have musk, sandalwood, and gaiac wood. And like I said, when you spray this on, you get a resemblance to Spice Bomb, but I would say that this is definitely much more upscale. I would say not as spicy as what I remember Spice Bomb as being. And I mean, just the way that this is blended, especially with like that bergamot and lavender, this is really good. And I mean, as it starts to dry down, you start to sort of get like a really nice, sort of smoky, almost kind of patchouli. And I would say you get some creaminess in there as well from like the sandalwood. But I would say in terms of, again, what I remember Spice Bomb smelling like compared to this I do think is worth the extra money that you would pay to be able to get this particular fragrance. Now, this fragrance is definitely not worth the retail price that it goes for. I believe at Neiman Marcus, this fragrance is like $330 online plus tax. I absolutely would not pay that particular price for this particular scent. I do think it is close enough to Spice Bomb to where, like, if you had a choice between paying retail for Spice Bomb and paying retail for this, I would definitely say go with Spice Bomb. And I would even say, you know, if you own Spice Bomb, this is definitely going to be, I would say, like a redundant purchase, only because it does have a good resemblance to it. Now, I would say the main thing that I get from this in the dry down, as opposed to, or once it starts to dry down, as opposed to Spice Bomb, is Spice Bomb has tobacco in it, and I feel like that tobacco note, that sort of comes out like in the far dry down stage of that particular fragrance. Like, obviously I'm not looking at the notes of Spice Bomb right now, but I mean, I want to say that tobacco is either in the mid or probably in the base for that particular fragrance. But I smell the tobacco in Spice Bomb, like, I would say after probably like the 8-hour mark. That's when I start to smell it the most. And in this, to me, I mean, you never really get like a tobacco type of smell from this. This more so kind of smells like smoky patchouli and vetiver mixed with like a really fresh lavender and bergamot citrus type of smell. So I would say once it dries down, this doesn't really have like a spicy element to it. I mean, some people could probably interpret this as having like a spiciness to it or a spicy type of smell. But I'm, like I said, more so getting sort of like a smoky type of vetiver and patchouli from this. And I mean, at this point, I would say the bergamot has pretty much faded away completely. And the lavender is just there, I would say, but in the background. So the main thing that I would say with this particular scent is, because it has, in my opinion, sort of like a more aromatic type of like fresher type feel to it, this is something that I would definitely say that you could probably, or not probably, you could definitely pull this off in like the spring, and I would say maybe early summer. I don't really think I would want to reach for this like in the middle of July or something like that, or, you know, August. But this is definitely something that I think you could probably wear in like April and May, you know, September through pretty much, yeah, I would say probably anywhere from like starting at September all the way through, I would say probably May. So really, you know, fall through spring pretty much. You know, this definitely is one of, I would say, my favorite scents that I've smelled recently within like the last year. So that's really saying a lot, because I mean, I've smelled a lot of scents. You know, I've been able to go to, thankfully we have a Neiman Marcus here in Las Vegas at the Fashion Show Mall. So I've been able to go there and try out a lot of different scents that, you know, some people might not even have access to. And, you know, I've definitely been impressed by a lot of different scents, but for whatever reason, this scent, even though it smells like another scent that I've owned before that's much cheaper, to me, this one just does something a little bit different to me, you know? So I would say, if you're sort of on the fence about this particular fragrance and all you see on like Facebook groups is, oh, don't buy it because it's just an overpriced Spice Bomb, I would say just get a sample of this first and actually wear it. Because honestly, when I first sprayed this, I wasn't too impressed either, but when I actually wore it a few times, I don't know, like it did something for me. It really did. So in terms of performance, this is definitely beast mode performance. Obviously, with this being like a tiny little 2 ml decant, the sprayer on it isn't gonna spray out, you know, as much juice as like the regular bottle would, but I was still able to get, you know, all day pretty much as far as longevity goes with this one. And also it projected very well off of me. I did spray it both on my skin and on clothes. And I would say that this didn't really turn into a skin scent until at least maybe like 7 hours in, like 7-8 hours in. Like it really gave me a really nice scent bubble all day long, and it never got like super close to the skin. So performance wise, this one I would say that in my opinion is better than Spice Bomb. Spice Bomb on me, I would say definitely it turns into more so like a skin scent after probably 3 hours or so. It's still definitely prominent, but not as strong as what this is, all right? So again, price wise, I would say this makes sense if you can get it for a good price. Now there are people on the Facebook group that sell this like brand new for about $189, I would say. That's still a lot of money for a fragrance that smells like another fragrance that you can get for like around probably what, under $100 for the original Spice Bomb. But I would say $189 though is still worth it for this particular fragrance. Like I said, it does smell a lot more upscale in my opinion than Spice Bomb does. The quality of the ingredients used in this particular fragrance definitely to my nose smells a lot better. But you know, obviously if you're somebody that has a tight budget and can't really see yourself spending $200 on a fragrance, then that's understandable. Go ahead and go with Spice Bomb. But definitely at some point in time this year, I plan to get a bottle of this because this stuff is really, really amazing. All right. So go ahead and try and check this one out. I would say definitely try and go on eBay or something like that. Get yourself a sample first. See if this is for you. See if you like it. And then if you do, you know, if you have the money to buy it retail, you know, go ahead and do that. But if you don't, I would say try and check out the Frag Addicts group on Facebook. There's some really good sellers in there. And like I said, I know there's at least one guy that sells it in there for $189. So just maybe try to join the group, you know, just make a post, say, hey, you know, I'm in search of Initio Parfums Rehab. And, you know, you'll be greeted with many different people that either know who's selling it or the actual sellers themselves. And pretty much everybody in that group is legit, so no need to worry about getting scammed, all right? All right, so what do I rate this particular fragrance? In terms of my rating for this one definitely gets a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, this is definitely one of my favorite fragrances that I've smelled within like the last year or so. Always wanted to get my hands on it, always looked like really intriguing, and definitely, you know, this didn't disappoint me, all right? So again, 9.5 out of 10, that's my opinion. If you smelled the fragrance, let me know what you think about it. And again, it's Jamar here, Vegas Scents. See y'all in the next video.